the face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good night.
How's it going, folks? Welcome to another edition of The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide right here on 90.3 Near FM, on all good podcasting providers, and on the EMC Podcast Network. I'm Dave Cullen, and I'm joined by entrant number 22 at the Greatest Raw Rumble, Daragh Maher. Daragh, how are you this afternoon?
I'm good, Dave, thanks.
Wait a minute, where's this coming from?
What?
Can you listen to this?
I'm just over.
Since when are you?
I'm just extremely over at the moment.
We've never ever had a pop like this for anything.
This week specifically, I think I've been very over. I don't know what it was. I think some of the bosses in the station have planted some people around the studio.
And you're okay with that?
Just to cheer for me. Well, look, planting people is the new over, Dave. So.
Yeah, but like, oh no, like it's one thing where it's like planted in, but like, are you really over?
Listen to them, Dave. Listen to those voices you just heard.
Yeah, I can hear
the millions and millions.
It sounded like
of Mars bars.
Mars bars, I love it.
Cheering me on.
Oh, do they come in 4-packs? Oh god, you can't.
No, they came in 2s.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Twixes.
It's a double bar.
Okay. Oh, it's one of those.
It's a double bar in the one wrapper.
It's one of those double ones.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Anyway, we're coming to you from the RFM.
With a nice nougaty centre.
Ooh. We're coming to you from the RFM studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock, and we'll be here giving you all the latest news, results, previews, rumours, and more from the world of professional wrestling. We'll be giving you all the latest. We're previewing all the past week's action from WWE. We'll be reviewing events or previewing events coming up from the likes of Low Blows, PWU, CCW, and OTT. And we'll also hear back for an interview we did with Legit 100's very own Michael May. All that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
We're going to start with news concerning ITV and World of Sport. After months of questioning, World of Sport Wrestling has resurfaced and is taping television eventually. The next set of World of Sport tapings will take place over the course of 3 days, starting on May 10th and running through May 13th. All of the tapings will take place at Epic Studios Norwich in Norfolk, England. It isn't really currently known what talent will appear at the taping, though some of the contacted talent for ITV include Dave Mastiff and Grado. It has been reported in recent weeks that the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the ITV contacted talent were told that the World of Sport promotion was looking to run shows again next month with the idea of running a limited series. ITV has interest in pro wrestling since taping and airing a pilot episode of World of Sport Wrestling back in New Year's Eve 2016. They have not taped television since, but with a planned taping featuring Impact Wrestling talent being postponed back in May of last year due to prolonged contract negotiations. At the same time, WWE is once again running shows in the United Kingdom. Their upcoming United Kingdom Championship tournament will run in June at the Royal Albert Hall in London. So it seems like it's like ironic from last time rounds with WWE responding to World of Sport and same it's vice versa. Like so.
Yeah, kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Sort of, yeah.
They've been gone for so long, and then they just appear like the Undertaker,
literally,
or old friend the Primo Taker.
The Primo Taker,
whose cousin Epico actually just followed us, by the way, on social media.
Is that right?
Yes, he did. He followed us on our Instagram, which you could too if you go to the Kickout Wrestling on Instagram.
Oh, that's
also,
a shameless plug.
If you go to Twitter at the Kickout Live, you can follow us there too, and you can always follow our personal Twitter accounts at Marsbar. You can be a Marsbar if you want to be, and at Dave Bandana. You can be a bandana if you want to be.
I don't know. I think Mars bars taste nicer.
I wouldn't recommend eating a bandana. No,
you can wear it.
You can definitely wear it.
Yeah,
and it would look good too. You can be a pirate.
Or whatever, or mechanic, or whatever.
Or mechanic, yes.
Anyway.
Or you could just like to protect your hair when it's having a bad day.
You're in rare form today, aren't you?
I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry. I'm just so damn excited for the greatest Royal Rumble, Dave. So damn excited.
I don't blame you, but...
I can't wait for those prayers to start in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. we just discovered that Lobo's Wrestling Parties will be doing an event at McGowan's in Phibsborough. We'll be doing a Lobo's Mass during their events, so...
Well, look... Pastor Jerry Soul will be there, so he'll be hopefully blessing us all for many more parties to come.
Maybe we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, going back to the World of Sport, you're right though. It's like the Undertaker or all these other things we mentioned, where it just comes up back now and then. Like so.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. Like, I wonder how what type of talents will it be? Will it be the same talent they used before, like the likes of like who was involved last time, like Johnny Moss or Zach Gibson, or the Coffees? Like, would you think it'd be the same thing around, or maybe a new?
I would think so. I think it'd be mostly English, Scottish, Welsh, indie talent.
Was there any American wrestlers in that first taping, by the way, or any non-British wrestlers?
I can't say because I didn't see it.
I just don't remember. So. No. It was New Year's Eve. It was a messy evening that night. That's another story.
We were doing other things New Year's Eve.
So it's interesting.
I wasn't involved watching World of Sport, and I never got back to actually watching it. But anyway, yeah, it's a good thing. I think it'd be a good thing though as well to sort of get like British pro wrestling back on television as well.
The thing is though, like one thing we both criticised, I certainly criticised of ITV is, although they have an interest in wrestling, there's nothing wrong with that, and obviously World of Sport is historic wrestling from Britain. My biggest concern is how if they learned their lesson production wise, because I don't know if you've seen yourself, there's a few flaws like on certain bits and pieces. Like I think I described one where someone hit someone, like it's, you know how WWE used to do their PG shows in the mornings when we used to watch it, and they'd show the crowd when someone gets hit in the head of a chair. Oh
yeah, you'd hear the sound and then the crowd, it would pan away to like a shocked toddler in the crowd or something. I know, like but
they do that too often. Maybe for like a suplex, they do that at times. Like, you know,
really?
Oh my god, a suplex!
They were too protective, were they?
Yeah, but I can understand for certain violence. Like, I don't know if it involved blood and stuff like that, and obviously chair shots. But for actual wrestling moves, I don't get it.
I don't know. I think that's pretty silly.
Oh no, well,
it's an integral part of the whole like match itself is seeing a suplex.
Well, maybe it wasn't exactly that, but all the same, it seemed to be doing it too often. Yeah. Like and like they weren't focusing too much on the match; they're focusing on the crowd's reaction far too much. Is what I'm trying to say. More to
which is a fair thing. You can always go to the crowd if you want to get a crowd reaction, or if you want to get like a crowd shot to show that they're into the match. So you should be into the match, sort of thing. But it shouldn't be happening all the time. Like it shouldn't be taking up more time than the match is itself,
or more to the point, it shouldn't be distracting what's actually going on. Like we are watching at home, reacting as it is. We don't need to need to see anyone else's.
We shouldn't necessarily need to know that if a crowd is reacting in a certain way, we should be.
It's like a Gladiator sort of philosophy.
Yeah,
I used to love that show though.
Gladiators was class.
Yeah, we'll move on in the meantime. Some news concerning New Japan's Best of Super Juniors.
Ready, Gladiators. Ready!
Pool A, Pool B ready for Best of Super Juniors. News concerning that this week.
Yes, advertising for this year's Best of the Super Juniors appears to have been revealed. Has appeared to reveal, I should say, most of the lineup of the tournament. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay, Himuro Takahashi, Kushida, Marty Scurll, Flip Gordon, Dragon Lee, Bushi, Sho and Yo, Ryuta Taguchi, Tiger Mask 4, El Desperado, and Kanemaru were featured on the poster. Assuming there will be again 16 wrestlers on the field, there is only 3 names left to be announced. Gordon officially confirmed on Twitter that he'd be in the tournament. It was teased that he'd be taking part in it when he wrestled for NJPW, for the first time on their Honor Rising tour, Ring of Honor, in February. Dragon Lee suffered a leg injury in CMLL's Arena Mexico show last Friday. The severity of it is yet to be confirmed, but Lucha Blog notes that he was back in the gym yesterday. This year's Best of the Super Juniors will begin, of course, at Corrigan Hall on May 18th and will conclude at the venue on June 4th. If Ospreay doesn't win the tournament, the winner will likely challenge for his title at the Dominion on June the 9th.
It's amazing because like it seems like the Super Juniors are just creeped up on us all of a sudden. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm more to the point. Like I think the New Japan promoted did a bit of a preview of the G1 Climax already. Like and rightly so considering how successful it was last year. Last year's arguably the greatest one they've ever had.
Yeah.
Certainly by a lot of critics, like not just ourselves. But like it seems like, oh wait, the Super Juniors, God, how could we forget about that? Like, you know, so. And it's interesting, like I like the addition to Flip Gordon as well, like so.
I think Flip is going to be a great addition to it for sure.
Let's bear in mind as well, he hasn't been wrestling. He's been wrestling for maybe 4 or 5 years, not that long.
Yeah.
And he's already doing like, well, yeah. So it's almost similar to Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay's obviously get a lot more experience, but I think his first tournament was similar experience. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Will Ospreay won his first tournament as his first with not as much experience compared to the rest, and he ends up winning it.
All Flip Gordon has to do if he wants to win the Best of Super Juniors is just admit the world is around.
What?
You didn't know?
He thinks the world's flat?
Yeah. Flip Gordon believes the world is flat.
And why is that?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask him.
So, is he one of these conspiracy theorists or something like
He
that?
just believes the world is flat.
Or, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, surely if he travels to Japan, that could defeat that theory, right?
How?
Because isn't the America once like presumably if the world's flat, but presumably if the world is flat, if we're gonna get into this,
Yeah.
is the Pacific Ocean the sides where it's split up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if he has to fly over from America to Japan, doesn't that prove that it's not flat?
How?
Because like if it's the Pacific Ocean they're crossing.
I know what you're trying to say. I'm trying to get into the Flip Gordon mindset of saying, how does that prove it? I know technically you're saying like you're going around the world to see to the other side
Instead of going up and down, like
But
you're going up
technically-
to America and down to Japan.
Technically, you are going up and then down. Technically, you're going up, staying up for a while, and then going down. I'm just saying that I believe the world is round as well. I'm not getting into this debate.
No, I'd love to.
I'd love to hear the reasoning behind this.
Me too. Me too. Besides that, though, it looks like a pretty solid lineup.
Yeah,
Show and Yo as well, being added to as well.
Show and Yo involved in it. Yeah, I think they're the only real sort of tag team that are involved. I'm just having another quick look through it. Yeah, I can't like. El Desperado's in it, and Bushi, I guess, as well. They're obviously in Suzuki going together.
There's 3 names missing. Who do you think could be?
This is the first year without
Ricochet.
Liger. Without Liger.
And Ricochet.
Yeah.
So,
well, obviously he's not going to be taking part.
Obviously, because he's in NXT. Let's see who's there.
Who could?
Well, it looks like there's the majority of Japan's most established new guys are there. So,
Rocky Romero.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna. What about? Would it be too wild of a guess to guess Neville?
No, because he's not releasing WWE. He's still
is
in
it not?
contract.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Let's think.
He'd have a 3-month no compete clause anyway. So.
Oh well then. Think of someone from. Let's see. Someone from.
Try and think of like
someone from Ring of Honor.
Or Ring of Honor.
Yeah. For top of my head, I can't think of anyone. Don't say cheeseburger. Whatever you do. Oh my god.
Bucks are up to heavyweight, so they're not going to be taking part.
I was going to say that, yeah. Can't think of anyone.
No.
He's right now, anyway.
There's some like I have an idea of like. You could put David Finlay in there.
Maybe
he can.
Is he junior heavyweight?
Yeah. Trevor Lee.
Perfect. That's a good one right there.
There's one.
That's a very good one. Impact star.
Yeah.
Trevor Lee.
Who else could there be?
Oh, Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Ray Phoenix.
Yeah. He could be in that. Yeah. Show, yeah.
Or who else? Another wild guess. I think is Adam Brooks cruiserweight?
No, he won't. No.
Probably not.
No, he not that he's not a cruiserweight. Just I don't think he'd be taking part in it.
Yeah, he's good. In a few years, he'll be good enough. If not, already,
you know who'd be great in it? I don't think he's going to take part in it. But he'll be great in it.
Go for it.
Travis Banks.
Yeah, Yeah, I can see that too. He's probably, again, I agree, he's probably not going to be in it, but he'd give you an ideal addition as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have to speculate anyway who else to be in it anyway. Speaking of New Japan, Japanese wrestling in general, and passing has happened in Japanese wrestling. Matogo Baba, the wife of Shohei Giant Baba, and arguably the most important and influential woman in the history of pro wrestling, has passed away on April 14th. She was 78. The news was kept quiet until this week, and other details were not available. Her funeral was actually on Monday, so that's a cool thing where they're actually able to, have everything out of the way and then into afterwards, so it gets all the fuss out of the way. Just a background for those who haven't heard about Matogo Baba. Her and Shohei were together at a young age, but for a number of reasons their relationship was kept secret from the public. Shohei Baba was one of the most famous sports celebrities in the country at the time, and even in recent years was listed as one of the top 10 most famous athletes in Japanese sports history. The two ran All Japan Pro Wrestling together from its inception in 1972 until Giant Baba's death in 1999. It wasn't until 1982 when the relationship and marriage went public, and she was publicly acknowledged as the number 2 person in the company. She was arguably the most successful mom and pop wrestling company in history. So there you go. Beat that, Vince and Linda. They had a good cop, bad cop role in the company. Shohei Baba had a tremendous favourable image, but because all of the bad news fell on her to deliver, to keep her reputation with everyone clean. Because of that, she was often not well liked. But she was every bit ran the business and company, every impact. The couple had no children, so wrestlers like Matsuebu Makawa, Kenta Kobashi, and others became like their kids. The company were very successful in television in the 70s and 80s, and then had their best box office period in the 90s, peaking at the early part of the decade, where they sold out more than 200 consecutive events in Tokyo. After Giant Baba's death from cancer, she became the majority owner of the company, and Masawa became company president and booker. But he wanted to change and extend the business, where she wanted to be more conservative, and it led to them falling out, where Masawa and almost all of the top wrestlers, with the exception of Yoshikawa Kawada, Toka Kei, and Masafui, left the promotion and joined Pro Wrestling Noah. The company did remain profitable and working with New Japan until she sold it to a group backed by Kenji Muto in 2000, and the company then faded in popularity over the next 16 years, and most considered Noah as the surviving branch in All Japan. Her name at times was attention in attempts of reviving the company in recent years. So there you go. No, neither of us have heard of her. But it goes to show you, how significant. We talk about all the women's revolution stuff and stuff like that. This is a lady who I think should be well known, considering what she done in Japanese wrestling, which and when you consider how popular and how it's reached its peak at that stage, certainly with Giant Baba and how famous he was. Yeah, it's significant what she's done for wrestling in general.
Oh, she's been huge to wrestling. It's kind of like, I wouldn't want to say under the radar, but sort of similar. It's not well known, I believe, of how important she was to wrestling, especially not just in Japan but all over to the world.
Absolutely.
Has definitely left wrestling in a much better place than where it was when she first got into it. And everyone here at the Kick Out sends their condolences.
Absolutely, yeah. So all condolences to her on her death. We'll move on in the meantime. Some news concerning Triple H and WWE in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, of course. If you have been living under a shell or put your head in the sand in the last couple of weeks,
where have you been?
You know that WWE are in Saudi Arabia at the moment for the greatest Royal Rumble in Jeddah tomorrow night. But while speaking with the Independent ahead of that event, Triple H, or Paul Levesque, if you want to call him that, offered a defence of WWE's partnership with Saudi Arabia. He says, I understand that people are questioning it, but you have to understand that every culture is different, and just because you don't agree with a certain aspect of it, it doesn't mean that it's not a relevant culture. You can't dictate to a country or religion about how they handle things, but having said that, WWE is at the forefront of a women's evolution in the world, and what you can't And what you can't do is affect change everywhere by staying away from it. WWE has received criticism for entering into a 10-year business agreement with the Saudi General Sports Authority, given how women are treated in the country and women's wrestlers are not being allowed to perform there. But Levesque expressed optimism that women will be allowed to wrestle in Saudi Arabia in the future, while right now women are not competing in the event. We've had discussions about that, and we believe and hope that in the next few years that they will be. It is a significant cultural shift in Saudi Arabia. The country is in the middle of a shift in how it is dealing with that. The position is changing and the rights are changing, as are the way women are handled and treated in society. We think that it's a great thing, and we're excited to be at the forefront of that change. The relationship with WWE is part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 economic and social reform program.
Now, I'm an optimist here with Triple H on this, because for those who don't know, obviously Saudi Arabia is one of the strongest followings of Islam in the world. So they have their beliefs very different and very contrary to maybe what we believe here in Ireland.
Yeah.
And WWE obviously can't straight away probably put women's wrestling, as much as they can try. They have to respect the culture. That that's my defense as well, speaking in that term. And I understand how people would criticize it. I'm 100% with that. But would you be with Triple H and following his optimism about it, that there could be a possibility for change, or can you understand?
Words are all well and good.
Yeah.
When I see action happening, I will then believe that they actually are trying to do something.
It's a big ask, and it's no guarantee either.
It's a big ask, and parts of it I agree with. You can't just say, right, we're not going to that country because they don't believe in women's rights. But then also he can, because Saudi Arabia is not just the only country in the world.
It isn't.
If you want to do, you're doing this big event. To be honest, you're going here to do this big event tomorrow night because of the money.
Right.
You're standing to make between $100 and $200 million from this.
And that's not even including ticket sales, apparently, which is crazy money.
Yeah. Now they are trying to do certain things, they are making people who buy front row tickets purchase family tickets, and then they have to bring at least one female with them. Is that them trying to affect change, or is that them just trying to show people sitting at home saying, look, it is culturally different, we are trying something?
Well, credit to him for making the effort, if that's the case.
It's an interesting, at least they're trying. The one thing I'll give them credit is they're trying that, and in comparison to different sports, I remember was it last summer? No, it wasn't. It was just after Christmas. Sorry, apologies.
Right.
It was just after Christmas, and there was a match between two Saudi Arabian teams in football.
Okay.
And the president of FIFA is Gianni Infantino.
Okay.
At the moment, he attended that game.
Right.
And he has been long supporting of the women's football game, trying to progress it.
Okay.
And stuff. At that game, 3 women were arrested and I believe subsequently beaten because they tried to attend that match.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
All they wanted to do was go and watch the football. And it's just very surprising that Gianni Infantino would be agreeing to go to matches and stuff like this, where he knows well and good that the majority of all of that crowd were men and that women weren't allowed in.
He probably doesn't realise the culture he's getting into. If that's
he
the case.
Has to. He's the president of FIFA.
Doesn't mean he knows
He's
everything.
the president of FIFA. He has to.
Doesn't mean he knows
he
everything.
Has to. He has a whole team of people to give him the information on wherever he goes.
He probably doesn't.
He does.
He should.
Dave,
he should.
Dave,
he should. He should.
Does.
No, listen. You're right. He should.
He
but that the thing is, and fair play to him for trying that. But it is what it is. So. But at the end of the day, although it's there's financial rewards for doing this for WWE in the end of the day, and they're trying to create change, or so it seems anyway. But they say obviously it's, as we said before, it's a huge ask.
Actions are louder.
It's a huge ask all the same. So we'll have to see what happens in the future with that. But all the same, it sort of creates an idea of what they're trying to do, and it's not easy.
Sorry, go finish your point.
No, that was it.
No, that was it. WWE think have missed an opportunity here.
In what way?
You have all your female competitors at home.
Right.
You want to do a women's evolution.
Right.
You missed your opportunity to have a Defiant style show.
Oh, that's a good point. So somewhere else outside of Saudi.
Somewhere in the States. You could have had a special. Like, they're going to be there the whole weekend. You could have done on Friday night, Greatest Royal Rumble. On a Saturday or on a Sunday, you could have had a network special.
Yeah.
Where it was a women's only show.
That's a great point, actually.
From both shows, even maybe some from NXT as well. You could have the NXT title, you could have the Raw women's title,
from
and
everywhere.
the Raw SmackDown title,
NXT
all
lost.
on the line in the one show, and you could have had multiple matches, and you could have actually shown how far women's wrestling have come.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Next time they do that, that's what you do as well at the same time, or at least do, let's say, one week, one next week, even something like that. So not too late for them to do that. Who knows? So after we'd see what happens. Move on in the meantime. What's next? Oh yeah, Zack Ryder had some good news after suffering a knee injury prior to Raw on Monday. He posted on Twitter during the week that no surgery is required after an injury he sustained during the main events where he was against Mike Canales. His first appearance on Raw since being drafted from Smackdown to the Superstar Shakeup. He says, quote, got new news this morning. MCL, ACL, calf muscle strained. Nothing completely torn. No surgery is needed. He says, thanks for everyone who reached out. It's time for #Raw to get #Zacked. Since he had to travel to Orlando to get MRI done with his knee the following day, Ryder will miss the Greatest Rumble event at Saudi Arabia. He will likely be part of the 50-man Battle Royale. Ryder missed 6 months of action back in December 2016, where he suffered a rupture Partalnear tendon, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, during a Battle Royale on SmackDown. So it's good news, like, you know, because it would have been such bad luck if he injured himself again after being out for that long as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And injuries like that, like, could be bad for a career, like especially when
it could be a
often.
career ender if it's so close between.
Even so, like, if you're injured for that often, if you're that injury prone, WWE could let you go over that, like, alone, like, so.
Exactly. No, it's great news that he's fine. And because he's gotten the move now, so I think it's the right thing, or it could be something. How am I trying to express this? I'm making a mess of this. New show, like, new chance for Zack Ryder, you know, to sort of try and get some sort of a push going.
We'll see what happens with him anyway. So hopefully everything will be okay and be back soon. We'll move on in the meantime. It seems like every time, like, there's a new baby on board when it comes to wrestling, isn't there? I
know, it's like around WrestleMania season, it's also baby season, looks like, doesn't it?
Baby mania, literally.
Yeah, because former WWE champion Dwayne The Rock Johnson has revealed on his Instagram account that he's become a father for the third time.
Awesome.
On behalf of the Kickout, we would like to congratulate The Rock and his long-term girlfriend Lauren Hassian, I should say, on the birth of their second daughter together, Tiana Gaia Johnson.
There you go. So there you go. It's like his third child. I don't think he's.
Did you see the Instagram post of him? Like, he was lying in the bed and the baby was on his chest.
Yeah.
Why did The Rock have his shirt off in the hospital? Why? That was the common question underneath. It was like, why did you have your shirt off in the hospital?
Maybe the baby likes his tattoo. I saw a very funny thing with this as well. It's probably wrong to say this, but like, a friend of mine shared the photo of response of what someone said to the Instagram post, or maybe like a tweet or something like that, where it said The Rock posing with Tiana, how you pronounce it? Tiana, and he called the baby the Pebble.
The Rock and the Pebble. Nice. I like that.
I'm not sure if I like that, but it's... Oh, no.
No, that's good.
Okay, cool.
That's good.
Alright, we'll move on in the meantime anyway, though. So we have a lot of results that happened in the past week, so we'll try and run down as quick as possible. First of all, New Japan Pro Wrestling held 2 cards as part of their Roads to Wrestling Dontaku tour that happened on Monday, April 23rd, and Tuesday, April 24th. The most significant results were on Monday, where Suzuki Gun's El Desperado and Yoshinobu Keimaru retained their IWGP Junior Tag Team titles against LIJ's Hiromu Takahashi and Bushi. Also on Tuesday, Hiromu Tomohiro Ishii took on Hendere, and apparently it was a very good match, like a real back and forth brawling match. And Jay White retained his US title against David Finney, and apparently it was an awesome match. A lot of people are saying actually this match, I haven't seen it yet, is a match now which was turning to shift a bit more now for Jay White, because We've seen him a couple of times now since he's been Switchblade,
Yeah.
and we weren't 100% convinced that he's next level yet.
Yeah, no, not really.
But this match apparently has turned the tide with that now. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
apparently so. So it's interesting to see. Apparently Jay White said he was investigating the winner of whoever wins between Okada and Tanahashi.
Yeah.
So you never know. Like, he could easily be next in line.
Oh, well.
Or at least be guy to
I'm
challenge.
glad, because he is a fantastic wrestler, so he definitely deserves to be getting the push that he is, but maybe just sort of changing a little bit. It looks like it's changing a little bit for him now. So
Yeah, a wee bit, so we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, we have a new Impact Wrestling World Champion this week.
Yes, we do. Pentagon is the new Impact Wrestling World Champion after defeating Austin Aries at their pay-per-view Redemption last Sunday night. He hit the Pentagon driver in a triple threat match that also involved Phoenix. Aries, who had been doing a belt collecting gimmick and still is, had held the title for 102 days, defeating Eli Drake back in July 10th. Just some news on this story, because
Okay.
I don't feel that people will mind us doing spoilers, because no one watches Impact here.
Well, a few. But go on anyway.
The latest tapings were made on the Thursday after, or during the week after. Austin Aries won it back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
It's a shame. I like Pentagon Jr. Like, it's cool. I think Impact is very interesting now. They've collaborated with Lucha Underground. So I haven't obviously have the chance to watch it, but it seems interesting when they have the addition of Ray Phoenix and guys like that, and Johnny Mundo and guys like that. So it should be interesting. Like, it's interesting times for ahead of them. Like, they have a good enough roster now where they can make a good show now. So
Yeah.
for me, it's interesting times. Anyway, I don't know about yourself. So
I'm still not convinced to watch it, but
have you seen the new titles actually?
yeah, they're alright. I'm not a big fan of the tag team titles. No, I don't really like them too much. But Scott Steiner having them though. Jesus.
PWG held their All-Star weekend cards on May 23rd and 26th in Reseda, California. This is apparently one of their last shows they're going to be doing at the American Legion Hall before moving permanently outside of Reseda. Significant results from the two cards included the Rascals, Waltz and Xavier, winning the PWG tag titles against Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb and the Young Bucks, who made a tribute to the American Legion Hall after the match. This will be their last ever appearance, and they've been one of the most significant performers from PWG. So they're one of the guys who's probably put almost PWG in the map, almost with likes of El Generico and Kevin Steen, among others, or Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae and other guys like that. On night 2, Bandido defeated Ray Horse, Matt Riddle defeated Timothy Thatcher, and Walter defeated Keith Lee and Jonah Rock to win the IWGP World Championship.
That match alone would have been crazy. Keith Lee, Walter,
and Jonah Rock. So the three meanest people in the mean match. So there you go.
Crazy.
So it was awesome. Fair play to Walter. I think Keith Lee made a speech afterwards saying that he feels bad for Chuck Taylor, who beat Chuck Taylor for the title in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And he said he felt bad he didn't raise the title, and he encouraged Walter to do the same now for that. So interesting times ahead. Walter, of course, was announced a couple of weeks ago that he'll be appearing in OTT very soon.
Yes, at their next show in the Tivoli after Scrappermania.
Indeed, yeah.
So that's going to be class.
Now, I'm one of the few guys who probably doesn't. I don't know much about Walter now. I haven't seen him in a full match
I've seen
yet.
a highlight.
I haven't seen a full match from him now. I've heard very good things about him, but the pop alone from everyone else when it was announced in Contenders says alone as it is anyway. So interesting time ahead. Anyway, we'll finish off the news. So we can't forget, obviously, CCW, obviously. So there's a rundown of results, isn't there?
Yes, they held their P2 pain spotting card at the Commons Inn in Cork, of course, last Saturday. And results are as follows. In the pre-show, Steve Savage defeated Kurt the Swiss Rocker Simmons, the Super Nintendo Bros, and Dino in a fatal 4-way. Lost my way, and I'm back again. In the first Revolution qualifying match, Danny the Beast Butler defeated LJ Cleary to qualify for the CCW title match at CCW Revolution 6. Post-match, Justy came to the ring, which led to a confrontation with Danny. However, Danny cleared the ring. Rough stuff of Paul Scarf and CT Flexer, of course, defeated Flight Mode, the team of Matt Schuyler and Axel Jeffries.
I didn't mention in this, actually, you have it written down in front of you. This match now is determined who was number one contender now for the CCW tag title. So it's Rough Stuff who will face the Armstrongs now. It's Revolution now. So
yeah, In the second Revolution qualifying match, Lewis Gervin defeated Bruiser to qualify for the CCW title match, of course at Revolution 6. In a 6-person mixed tag match, Debbie Keitel and the Armstrongs, APA you could call them, defeated Therapy of course Billy Bedlam, Gunther Isaac and Raven Creed. Post-match, Debbie Keitel challenged Raven to a match at CCW Revolution 6.
Did you see the Armstrong's new promo?
Oh, best one. The best one they've ever
It
done.
gets better and better
Total
and better.
Arms, that was brilliant. Just my favourite part was
Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
No, I'd enjoy two parts most. Obviously,
Okay.
I would have loved to have been there because I know the chant of "Please, don't sue,
Please,
don't sue" would have gotten over so much. But then also with Butch, you hear Marion just say, "Oh, as long as he doesn't go into Butch mode, it's fine." And he's like, "Butch mode!"
You take that poor guy like how many times?
Brilliant stuff. Loved it. The Armstrongs are fantastic.
Oh, they're awesome.
Keane O'Carroll, of course, now of Low Blows,
Corporate Kane.
Corporate Keane, put up a tweet. I think it was during the week, and he made a great match, a great fancy booking match. The Armstrongs against Club Tropicana. How good would that match be?
That'll be an amazing match. Now, there's a match that could happen. We don't know who the I'll tell you something right now. We don't know who Tropicana are now an OTT next one. Apparently they have to win their next match.
Yeah.
Perfect opponents in the Armstrongs.
Make
The
it happen.
Make the match. Make the match. Make the match. Joe, if you're listening. Which, by the way, we have to give our congratulations to Joe Cabray. He recently got engaged, actually.
Yes.
So congratulations to him.
Yes, to Rachel from the merch stand.
If you're listening to this, please book that match. You've complimented the Armstrongs on that. I think in your Q&A, I think a month ago or something.
And it was on the podcast as well, the OTT podcast. You mentioned them too.
Just do it. Do it. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, keep going. You're on.
Yes, in the third Revolution qualifying match, Justy defeated Vic Viper to qualify for the CCW Championship match at Revolution 4. The establishment, of course, Lee Callahan and Jack Boyce came to the ring for a State of the Establishment address. Callahan got on the mic and said that Lycan was not here tonight and talked about how the establishment had not invoked their rematch clause for the CCW Tag Team Champions, but that they would. And they were going to become the 3-time CCW Tag Team Champions. Callahan turned on Vice and stated that the establishment are only as strong as their weakest member.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So I presume that means Callahan and Lycan then will be going after the title stand.
Possibly. Or maybe there's a new member on the way.
Who knows?
Could be.
Who knows?
Could be a new member on the way. In the final Revolution qualifying match, the role model Ricky Combat defeated Joe Henry and Sean Guinness to qualify for the CCW title match at CCW Revolution 6. This means that the main event of CCW Revolution 6 will be Ricky Combat versus Justy versus Lewis Gervin versus Danny the Beast Butler for the vacant CCW title.
That's a tougher match than you think to call now. So
Justy.
You think so, but for some reason I fancy.
Justy.
Think so?
Justy, and here's one, right?
It's this fancy booking for you now.
Yeah, Justy, because he becomes the latest member of the establishment.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I like that, but why do I want Lewis Garvin to win?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why? Why'd you like Lewis Garvin? Tell me.
He's a class wrestler for one.
So is Justy.
Yeah, it's true. Honestly, your Justy philosophy, especially if he actually does join the establishment, does make sense.
Yeah.
So there you go. I'd love to hear. I'd love to see it. That's proper fancy booking right there. Anyway, that's all our news. When we return, we will start our results of the week, starting with WWE Raw. Right after this short break.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We're back here on The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue on our show now with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God!
I'm going to start off with Monday Night Raw.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
Obviously, it started off. Obviously, we talked about Bruno Sammartino's death last week. At the start for both Raw and SmackDown, but particularly Raw, they had everyone on stage for a 10-bell salute in tribute to Bruno Sammartino. It was a cool package, actually. I don't know if you've seen the video package for it.
Oh yeah, it was across both nights.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
It was pretty cool. Anyway, started off the show with Paul talking, Brock hopping, and them both making $127,000.
I don't think both of them did.
Well, Brock did anyway.
Yeah.
Heyman introduced Brock. It's usual thing at this stage, like we got like all this long list of "I told you so" and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He said that Brock doesn't gloat, he conquers, but Heyman, he gloats, and they don't live in the past because Brock wants to be in a cage match so bad he's flying to Saudi Arabia to be in a cage match with Reigns. He then gloats about Brock's new contract, pits him as a great cage fighter, and promises that Brock will shred Reigns to pieces and puts him into multiple boxes before being sent home. Reigns comes out saying no matter how he ends up, he'll be coming home with the title. It's it's sort of more like I do love Paul Heyman, and he's great at selling anything, but
it's just the same, isn't it?
Yes, it's
just the same.
I said to someone, so it's like I don't know how long ago.
Yeah,
but and even unless there's like a one liner to it, that's fair enough. But I don't know. It's just the idea of Brock and the whole idea, and like it's no secret about all the situation of, or even there's no secret about what the story is, or
the way his new contract is structured.
Or we don't even know. That's the thing. Like it's still kind of up in the air. But even that, like that's not a secret, and that's why it's like all this. Oh, well, what's the story? Are you here or not? And if you're not, will you go away? Like that sort of thing. Like
WWE are using him when they want him. He has the best jobber contract I think in the world.
Probably, yeah.
But
that's the thing that gives him, again, going back to that makes him. It's not even a part timer anymore.
Yeah,
he's basically a flexi timer.
He's a sometime.
He's a flexi timer. There's full timers, there's part timers, and he's a flexi timer. Just come when we need you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Come when we need you. That's it. And then you can go back into the training pool for the MMA, so you can get your ban over with, and then you can get back to the UFC.
It still makes less sense from now to be champion, which for me now I think it's only going to go. It has to go one way then in Greatest Royal Rumble. But we said that at WrestleMania. But in saying that, like Vince probably trolled us then.
Yeah,
that's what I'd like to think anyway. Do you think Reigns could win on Friday? Now we're obviously recording this. This will be finished by the time this goes out, just so we know.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, it's kind of bad timing, isn't it, this week to be talking about it?
Sure, what can you do?
Exactly, what can you do?
So if you're listening to this, this was the day before Greatest Royal Rumble, but
yeah, as of Thursday, the 26th?
It's 26th today,
26th, yeah, the 26th of April. Yeah, I feel Roman could win it. Reasoning behind it could be because Roman would get a better reaction winning it with a Saudi Arabian crowd than he would at an international WrestleMania.
It makes more sense then, doesn't it? Because like apparently he's as over as John Cena, he'll be as popular. The crowd reaction will be way better than he'll ever get in the United States. So it makes sense in that way, where he has this big cheer, this big pop when he wins the title. So,
well, the way Lesnar's contract is structured, he kind of has to win it.
Yeah,
and now that puts me in trouble because I've actually said that Brock is going to win. But I was convinced that Rome was going to win a WrestleMania, so they might pull the wool over eyes again.
No, we'll see.
Because there has been no match announced for the Universal title at Backlash.
That's true. That's very true, actually, and it could easily be between. Then again, if Roman wins,
then it's against Joe.
Yeah, it's against Joe, but that can't be for the title if he's on SmackDown.
Can be.
Could it be?
Could it be? Yeah.
Why not? I don't know. It could easily happen, I suppose. Yeah. Move on in the meantime. Elias took on Bobby Roode. Elias cut him off with rights and chops. They battled back and dumped him on the floor. Then there's when let's see, it was kind of a weird finish where Roode hit the blockbuster and ponders to the floor. Roode follows and tosses him back in, but Elias cuts him off and cradles him for ties for the win. So it starts a feud, if you ask me. So like, do you think this will be an interesting feud between Elias and Roode?
Welcome to the lower mid card, Bobby Roode.
It's like that for him, is it? So he's gone way. His stock is lowering now since he's gone on Raw's results this.
Yeah, it looks like that there.
I don't think so. Like, because Elias is over enough in a sense where it could be a good enough rivalry. Like, it's not comedic in any way, shape, or form. Or like,
yeah, but he's still like, if you have a look at all the other superstars that have moved, okay, they've all been winning. Who, like, Breezango got one over on the bar.
Yeah.
Who are the other ones that have moved recently? Sorry, Natalia.
Yeah, she won.
Got a win.
Yeah.
Who else are the other ones that have moved?
Well, the point is, like, well, Bobby, this is his first solo match.
Chad Gable got a win.
He did.
Jinder has obviously lost both.
Yeah.
But I don't like Ginger too much, so it doesn't matter. But
Bruce,
yeah, like,
it's
it's just,
case, no.
What's going on with Bobby then?
I don't know. I think you're setting up a rivalry, like, and setting him up with a loss first to make him redeem it might probably make a lot of sense. So, I
just think Bobby has to turn heel.
Think so. Well, I think it's
the
too early.
best thing for him is to turn heel.
I think it's too early to say.
Yeah.
You might be right. I think he's personally. I think he's a better heel than the face.
I just didn't enjoy him on SmackDown because he was a face.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, he's very similar to Charlotte in the sense where, although he's way better heel, he can still work face.
No, I think
so.
No, I just don't think. I don't think the gimmick and everything works.
Obviously, that cocky side we've seen in NXT. Yeah. It's way. I agree with you. He's way better as a heel, but I don't know. We'll see. Like, we'll have to see the circumstances of how he would turn heel, and it won't be straight away if this is a rivalry. That's for sure. Anyway, the Woken Warriors took on the Ascension. There's another team we haven't won yet. The Ascension.
Well, they never won on SmackDown either, so
yeah, to be fair. Bray ran over Victor with a running crossbody. Matt hits his sister Abigail. Connor cuts off Matt, but eats his sister Abigail. Double team. Christopher Faye finishes things, and it gives them more momentum.
I still don't like that move. I still don't like that.
I was hoping actually he would plant him as well, like with that as well.
Yeah, still don't like it. I still just don't think it works.
Do you think it looks like now Woken Warriors, by logic, that they should win on Friday? Do you think they make a decent run of the tag titles?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Interesting to see. The Sammy and Kevin show, where they picked up by they said they were picked up by Stephanie as the crown jewels of Raw, and then they sang "You Suck" chants to Angle before they were brought out. And when Angle came out sitting in probably the smallest chair known to man, like they brought up like the past issues in SmackDown and why Kevin attacked Vince. They then said that Stephanie must really like them and really hate Angle. They then discuss how Angle really needs this job and jokes about how many kids he has before adding more jabs about Jason Jordan. Then Sammy and Kevin said they want to be rewarded, and Angle said, okay, well, on Friday's Rumble, well, just so you know, your guys are in it, but so are Bryan and Jericho. And then all the other stars that you've annoyed, and then announced that the two of them will face Lashley and Braun Strowman. So yeah. I love Kevin and Sammy. They're great heels. Like, you want to hate them because they're so annoying.
They're doing the way they are now on Raw is the way I wish they could stay forever.
Keep the reading glasses, Sammy. That's all I'll say. Keep the reading glasses.
Old man Sammy. That's what I want.
Now, meanwhile, Curtis, Axel, and Bo Dallas, who are now leaderless, had a few occasions backstage where, first of all, they tried to meet with Rollins and tried to be new members of the Shields.
Yeah.
Rollins gave him a hard no. Later on, they tried to do the same thing with Finn Balor, and he was laughing at the whole thing, like, basically, like, lads, just put it down, just put those two sweets down, like. So I have a bit of a theory at this, about this actually.
Go ahead.
So Dallas and Axel are not doing it, and this was mentioned actually in Low Blows earlier on. So credit to the guy.
Okay, so it's not your theory then.
Well, it's a theory that it's not my idea. Is what I'm trying.
Go ahead. I'm
not taking
no, I'm only messing. Go
I'm
on.
not taking credit for it. Is what I'm trying to say, but I'm so intrigued by it. I think I'd like to bring it up.
Okay.
So obviously Dallas and Axel now have nothing. They're leaderless, and it looks like that could be a thing now on Raw, which I think is good. Would it be a good thing or a bad thing if they were Woken?
A tweet was sent out about that.
I'd be intrigued to see that. Why not have a huge Woken army?
Adding more in, I think, would make sense. I don't know. It'd just be weird seeing Dallas and Bo dressing like Matt and Matt and Bray.
Somehow I think it can work because you have to recognise, think of their track record as well of what what both of them have done before. As when they were social outcasts, they were over. When they were part of the Miz Taraj, they were over.
Yeah.
They have a good track record of working with little and making gold out of it. Like so, because I think let's be honest, both Curtis Axel and both Dallas are very underrated.
Yeah.
In terms of how they work their stuff. Like so, there's every reason for me why this could work if it happens. So.
Yeah. I give it a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, go on, give it a shot. Why not? Like, they're not doing anything else. Yeah, I don't know. Like, one thing I don't like, and it was mentioned as well, that, this whole Seth and Finn joining together sort of thing. I'm hoping it leads to one of them turning heel.
Okay.
And going after the other, because I want to see more of that rivalry. I don't want to see them as a tag team.
Yeah, it's early days, so I imagine it'll be any time soon, though. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre took on Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. Great double team work from Ziggler.
Titus worldwide.
Great double team work from Drew and Dolph in this. Like, they eventually finished off with the Claymore zigzag finish again. This team has potential.
The
Clayzag.
The Zigmore.
This team has potential.
This team does have potential.
And I loved their promo afterwards.
Yeah.
Where Ziggler said he finally had to find someone to have his back, and McIntyre said he's a dangerous man, especially for a locker room that has gone soft, that just collects checks, and he wants to be a super that doesn't look like it, and he has all the credentials to back it up. The times are changing. He's not what WWE wants, but he's a reality chef WWE needs. Before Ziggler said he doesn't care about seeing the show because they are the show. I'm all for this.
Oh, I'm on board for these two. When I saw them together, I just thought, they both need this. Maybe not so much Drew, but definitely more Dolph, and I think it's perfect for him.
But it makes sense, and it's that thing now where it could be that difference of particular for Dolph Ziggler. Here's a guy who I don't know about you, but I'd like to see him over big time. And Drew is someone who can help him with that now. So, because Drew, he's over, but like the two of them together could be very over. And it looks
two of them together, that's it. They're over. They're done.
Boom.
Let's go.
Put
tag titles on them and they'd be perfect.
There you go. That could be the first in line.
The first in line for when Matt Hardy.
When the Woken Warriors were, or if we presume the Woken Warriors,
Okay.
Chad Gable took on Jinder Mahal. It came about when Kurt Angle met when Chad Gable met with Kurt Angle and talked about Jason Jordan until Jinder arrived, complaining that he lost the US title and saying he'll win it back on Friday and he wants to be back on SmackDown. Gable then gets annoyed, but then Mahal mocks him, calling him Nicholas from WrestleMania, and then called him Mini-Me, and then Angle books the match. It looked like a match where like Gable was resilient, where he kept fighting, hitting a rolling kick, but then he attacked the knee of Mahal, but then hit the Chaos Fury, then got cut off by the high knee of Mahal. Then Gable fought out of the Colossus and got the win with a almost a tribute to Bret Hart. Like, he won in the Intercontinental title this exact way, where he had like some sort of sleeper on him, and he hit off the ropes and wouldn't let go of the holds then, and that's how he won.
I do have to give Jinder some credit though. The little barb at Chad Gable calling him Nicholas, an old washed up Nicholas, I thought was brilliant. Well, that
meanwhile
was
Mahal looks like Mahal looks like a glazed donut.
I don't see it. People have been pointing that out to me. I don't see it.
You don't see a glazed donut?
I don't.
Look at the picture, a still picture of him, and look at his chest.
I did. I don't see the glazed donut.
It's. Imagine there's no face there. I don't know. Put it on instead of his face, maybe.
I just can't see it. I'm trying to look at it. I was like, no, that's not a glazed donut.
The shiny tan skin.
No, like he's always.
Instead of a glazed donut.
No, I don't see it.
All right.
I want to see it, Dave, but I can't see it.
But anyway, this finish was similar to. Have you seen the match between Bret Hart and Roddy Piper at WrestleMania 8? It was a fantastic match. One incredibly underrated match when it comes to all-time WrestleManias.
Yeah.
It finished the exact same way where Roddy Piper got in the sleeper, which was his finisher. But Bret Hart got to his foot on the ropes, rolled back, and got the pin.
Yeah.
So it was a good match, and it was good to see Gable win. It was a bit of a surprise, and it was overall a solid match though. one could argue though it could be a bit weird considering that Mahal's gone to a title match on Friday, but then again, we've seen that so many times with likes of the Bar lately. So
yeah, well, look, it's kind of summing up Raw at the moment in general, anyway.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn took on Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. I loved Strowman in this match because it seems like no matter what he does is gold right now.
Oh, they're really pushing. Supposedly did you see the reports about this?
No.
That they want to push Braun to the stars, and any sort of gimmick change or promo
or silly stuff he does,
anything, any proposed thing like that has to be brought to Vince first. They can't go on their own initiative now. Vince has to okay everything for Braun.
Well, that's good because that's an example of how, like, you know, there's good writers going behind Braun. Like, if that's the case, and that's okay. Like, at least it's them trying to give options to Vince for stuff for them to do, which isn't a bad thing.
Is this? Are we trying to risk turning Braun on the fans?
So, in other words, being too comical.
No, not being too comical. The reason why the fans can't get behind Roman is because he was pushed to the stars.
Yeah, but
this was the sort of problem that I had with Braun for a while. Was he was getting this? He is doing. He's getting the Roman Reigns treatment, but for some reason it's working at the moment. Now it could change, but at the moment it's working with Braun. It's not working with Roman. I think the only reason why is because he's not been main event in WrestleMania.
Another reason I think as well is because Reigns, a lot of his content is severely scripted, whereas it clearly seems like Braun's isn't.
Yeah, because like say for example he was like thrown in a dumpster, he was back a week later, sort of thing. You know, he was getting the Superman effect that like nothing could beat him and stuff like that. I guess maybe the size has something to do with it as well.
That's the thing. Yeah. He is a legitimately scary man. Like, and then again, Roman Reigns is a big man as well. Don't get me wrong, but like. But it's like there's Roman, and I put my hand up to my forehead, and there's Braun, and I'm pointing up to the ceiling. Yeah, like, you know. And but we saw all those comical things, which we haven't really seen. See, that's another difference as well. We've seen all these comedic elements of Braun, especially at the Mixed Match Challenge with Alexa Bliss. We haven't really seen we haven't seen anything like that from Roman. It's basically been the Shield and Roman Reigns. Whereas we've seen Braun Strowman, we've seen crushed Braun Strowman, we've seen Wyatt's Braun Strowman. There's so many elements to him.
It's interesting though because obviously Roman or Braun is competing every week.
Yeah.
Roman hasn't competed in the ring, I think they were saying, since
WrestleMania?
No, on a Raw. Like, he hasn't competed on a Raw in like 10 weeks.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is he injured or something?
No, it's just that they haven't been putting him in matches.
There you go. Well, that's another problem.
10 weeks.
That's another problem then.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and they don't realise it there as well. But no, but in this match with himself and Lashley and Seven and Sami Zayn, like there was a case where he gets the tag. He goes straight to Kevin and takes him out. Mows Sammy down. John woos Kevin on the floor and then runs back in. But Lashley cuts him off, tosses him back in. Braun gives Sammy those hands. And the crowd are in love with Braun at this match. It really was.
Oh, okay. Braun destroying Kevin Owens made my life during this match.
The way he sold
every time.
The way he sold that.
I know Kevin Owens is going to sell it because Kevin Owens is probably the best seller in WWE.
One of the best anyway.
When it comes to stuff like that. Unbelievable, but it was fantastic. Good. It gave me life, as the kids said.
Ended when Braun gave the thumbs down and hit the power slam on Sammy for the win. Very good fun match though.
That is some team that I'd love to see more of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a shame it didn't happen at WrestleMania. That's just my opinion. Like I called that, unfortunately. But you know, down the line it could be something for sure, yeah. But I think they have their own single agendas down the line, as we talked about with Braun. Maybe down the line with Bobby Lashley, but we'll never know. Every chance it could be a team, or even up to a storyline or something like that, where they could challenge for tag titles and have a falling out or something. Like, who knows?
Possibly.
Baron Corbin came out claiming that no way Jose's dancers are here to jump him before he beats his ass. Corbin plans to ruin the fun, but he's not eager to become a champion again. He refused to face him unless the dancers leave. Jose danced anyway, but before Corbin returns, beat the crap out of Jose and then hit the choke breaker on the stage. Starts a rivalry, I guess. Not into it? Not into it? Don't like it at all?
No.
That's interesting for me. We'll see what happens. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor then take on Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. It was basically a solid match. fun ending in the end though, where it was I think it was Rollins who super kicked Dallas, and the blackout followed on Axel. Then Balor hit the double stomp, and that was that. So pretty much went on from the backstage thing earlier on between Dallas and Axel. And the main event was a 10-woman tag team match: Bayley, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, Amber Moon, and Natalya versus Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Alexa Bliss, and Mickie James. Probably one of the highlights of Raw was obviously the anti-bullying message from Alexa Bliss. A moment of bliss where she claimed that Nia stole food from a starving old woman.
Yeah,
this was actually very funny, and you have to credit Sasha. Like, I'm personally not the biggest fan of Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
but I have to give her credit. Like one of her biggest strengths is her acting. Yeah, and boy, she really knocked one out of the park with this one for me.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I don't like the angle itself. It's just weird, but like, if anyone can sell me on it, it's Alexa for sure.
We still got like a hint of like there's a bit of a thing going between Bayley and Banks, because when the babyface woman got fired up, Bayley basically ignored Banks over the whole thing. But anyway, some really good like Amber Moon is right in there with the action now. She seems like she's settling into the main roster straight away now, because like she went straight in, corner clothesline, springboard, high cross. It's almost like we saw Amber Moon for the first time in NXT. It's like, oh wow, this is in the main roster. Like she has an impact already. For me anyway. As the match went on, like Natalya tried to get the sharpshooter on I think it was Mickie James before Logan made the save and directed check on her, and she was selling a bad knee injury as a result of that. Anyway, the match eventually breaks down where the others were on the floor. Jax wiped them all out with a splash to the apron. James attacked Natalya and focused on the knee. Out came Ronda Rousey, which apparently is setting up like the matches they're going to be having at the European tour. And she checked on Natalya. Then James attacked. Rousey becomes Rousey and attacks her and basically tries to rip her arm off, causing a disqualification. And this is good for so many reasons, because it works well. It establishes or establishes a friendship, I should say, between Rousey and Natalya. It's
a strange friendship, but
because Natalya is like you could argue one of the leading lights going into the women's revolution. She has a huge hand in a lot of their training in WWE, I imagine. Or certainly for Rousey anyway. And also sets up the matches, as we said, between Rousey and Mickie James on the European tour. And again, that's a good rival to have, or at least a good person to have first matches with, or at least like live show matches with. Like when you think about it, so it sets up that very well. But also, again, as I mentioned before, like it's cool to see like Ember Moon like shining in it as well, like because the athleticism compared to the other wrestlers, like although all of them are doing very well, like Ember Moon, if she keeps going the way she's going, she could easily be in the mentioned for the title, like,
for sure.
Down the line, like for sure.
Yeah, she seems to be definitely hitting a good note with the crowd as well. And obviously, the people who wouldn't have seen her in NXT are going to be amazed by her Eclipse finisher, like people in NXT were at the start as well. So everything's pretty looking good for Ember at the moment.
Absolutely. So we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, we'll move on to Smackdown.
On to the Rock Show, to the premiere show, Smackdown.
Just before we mention about Smackdown, just wanted to make the comment as well about the Raw show in general. I think this is the sort of stuff that we're going to be getting for a while, that you have a lot of B players on that team, and it's going to look like it's going to be a mid-card show, it looks like, mostly.
But you know what? Because it's a longer show, it could make more sense for that to have as well. It just comes a case because it's early days. Like, give it a while, maybe. This is the optimist side of me saying this, where give it a while, and it could seem like an entitled part of the show. Like in time, like I think a main reason for that is obviously to fill the show more and highlight the big stuff going on, like so. Which is a very Raw thing to do. Let's be honest.
I just don't know.
Not sure.
I'm just not sure about it.
Well, we'll go on to probably the A show now.
The A show. Do you remember the meme that was done for a while when the Brand Split Force happened and SmackDown was winning?
Yeah.
Where they had the Brian and Shane train driving into the sun because they can't get any better.
Yeah.
They did a new one. Did you see the new one?
No, I didn't.
It's the Paige and Shane train where they're driving into the sun. Brilliant.
Yeah. So that's cool. Anyway, it started with Miz TV where he said And it's kind of a weird side of Miz, because he said, like, this is the moment everyone's been waiting for, and he wants to bring out Daniel Bryan, claiming that Bryan's carried a grudge over the Talk and Smack team, but then he baby faces a bit, using his daughter, noting that he wants to be a better man, and he hopes the same for Bryan, like when he had Birdie, and maybe they don't share the same bond, and discusses how they are alike. But he says, you know, if you want to come out and punch me in the face, then so be it. So he sort of was like, you know, he sort of sells the fact that he's a different man now since he's become a father.
Yeah.
Similar to Bryan in the way, so maybe he's just like, alright, you know what, that was then, come on, let's sort this out, punch me in the face.
Yeah.
In a way, which is sort of strange, but out comes Big Kaz then. Like, suits and all, as corporate Kaz, if you like.
Corporate Kaz.
That works, actually. So he obviously was expecting Daniel Bryan, and Kaz came out saying, listen, you have no guest, I'm your guest now. And tells him in an interview, he went on to say that no one cares about Bryan, and he's also had an injury, and when he got cleared, all everyone could talk about was Daniel Bryan, not him, because apparently he was cleared the same day as Daniel Bryan, which actually makes sense of why he attacked him last week.
Yeah.
He then calls Bryan an ordinary man, saying this isn't about Miz. He then runs down his accomplishments, and Kaz then threatens to shut him up. Kaz then says that Bryan should be working for him, and mocks Bryan's promos about accomplishing his dreams, which Kaz calls unsustainable. He calls him small, pathetic, and weak he said that he was once small, pathetic, and weak like Bryan, until he was 16 when he grew 7 foot tall. Can't teach that. And then beat everyone down who caused him pain. He said he despised people like Bryan. He didn't have to work the indies or bingo halls or go to Japan, because he's tall and good looking, he has money, and he lives in Bryan's shadow. And then he will send Bryan back to the shelf where he belongs. For me, that's a good promo. I don't know about yourself.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually quite on point.
It makes sense for the attack, for sure.
Yeah, it does make sense for the attack, and it could start a decent rivalry. Yeah, I agree with that.
We later seen Daniel Bryan laid out backstage. Apparently, Kaz attacked him backstage, which caused...
It wasn't like when he attacked Enzo and he tried to say, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. You okay, Enzo? I'll find the guy that did it. I'll batter him.
At least he's up front this time.
Yeah.
Later on, Bryan was checked by trainers, and he said he's good to go for Backlash, where he will be facing Big Cass. So we'll see what happens with that one. So it's interesting rivalry.
It's kind of strange to see who's going to win that, who's going to lose that.
It's obviously, if anyone can beat anyone, it's Daniel Bryan. But
I think it's going to be a disqualification finish.
It's a good call, actually.
For sure, yeah.
Asuka and Becky Lynch took on Billie Kay.
Bryan gets the win, and it makes Cass look strong by battering him.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so disqualification loss for Big Cass or something like that. So Asuka and Becky Lynch took on the Iconics, who when they arrived to the ring, all they want to talk about is how hot they are, and they mock Becky Lynch, and then they remind everyone that they helped end Charlotte's reign, making them better than Asuka. So it's kind of a strange theory, but there you go. Asuka got the hot tag anyway, where eventually ended where Lynch, it was kind of a weird finish actually, where Lynch and Asuka worked double teams, and Lynch gets run into by Asuka, and Royce cuts her off and posts her, a roll up, and then ropes get the win for the Iconics. So
yeah, not a great start for Asuka on SmackDown.
Yeah,
her streak didn't even last a day.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, apparently backstage then, I don't know if you've seen this on the YouTube channel, but the Absolution then mocked her backstage then, like, and without even knowing that she was there, and it's very typical of her response is like, oh, fucking batter, I'll just batter you, like, you know.
Wait, they mocked Becky backstage?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, she didn't say it with the accent. This is Becky responding to it, like, so.
Alright, I thought you meant they mocked Asuka backstage and accent.
No,
Asuka suddenly had a Dublin accent.
No, it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't notice you there. Oh, you'll notice me in a minute, like, when I clap your head and stuff like that. So, very Dublin responses.
Yeah, she's doing this stuff with quinoa a lot now as well. Have you seen those videos that she's putting on her Twitter?
No.
Yeah. It started the first week at the first SmackDown after WrestleMania when Charlotte was attacked, and then she was like, oh, people keep asking, why didn't I come out and help Charlotte when she was being attacked? I said, well, I had this really nice bowl of quinoa, and it was really, really nice. I was really into this quinoa and stuff. Then the next week when she came out and helped Charlotte, then she released a video next week.
Was it of quinoa?
Of her, no, she was eating quinoa at the time.
What is quinoa?
It's like some sort of vegetarian dish or something like that. I'm not too familiar with it.
Bloody vegans, no offense out there to people listening.
Yeah, no, I'm a carnivore and I'm very happy to be one, and I'll continue to be one.
Everyone lives differently.
Yeah. And then the what was it like? Yeah, it's just a big thing with quinoa now at the moment. I think she's trying to get quinoa over. I don't know if quinoa's getting over them.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Rowan took on Jimmy Uso 1-on-1. So the Usos met about the match beforehand, where Naomi said she won't promise to say backstage but isn't sorry getting involved last week, but she has a bad feeling about tonight's match. Jimmy says Jay will have her back and they'll win the titles on Friday, and tonight they'll take care of business. It looked like it was just going to be a squash match where Rowan tosses Jimmy into the barricade and Rowan follows up and gets run over, but then back in and Naomi arrives, distracting the Bludgeon Brothers. They're almost in awe of her when she came out. It was like a Carl Anderson in Japan thing.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see that video, that meme of Carl Anderson being distracted by Maria Kanellis in Japan?
Oh yeah, the whole Bullet Club being distracted by Maria.
It's sort of similar to this, but it's like, but it's like almost expressionless from the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah. And
it helped where it allowed.
They're just like, woman, woman.
That allowed Jay to take out Harper. Jimmy superkicked Rowan and rolled him up for the win. So it's nice to see them get their revenge, actually. So it kind of reverses the tides a wee bit. Like, that's their first loss since they've been on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I think it's all good. Now, Charlotte and Carmella signs their Backlash contract. Carmella puts herself over, runs down the crowd, and says that she gets no appreciation over her celebration from last week, and demanded that her highlight reel shared again. But then she goes on saying, "Okay, but now play it again," and demands a standing ovation. And she eventually isn't happy. So it's great how she goes on about that. I think it's funny. Then Charlotte.
Do you think it's a little mean to not have James Ellsworth featured at all in the promo video?
That's the whole point. Like, she's intentionally trying to be mean, and as a result being very condescending.
Yeah.
So it's the whole point of that is not to mention James Ellsworth. So
okay.
Charlotte then interrupts because Carmella mocks Charlotte as Renee asks her to be professional and take a seat. Charlotte then signs and topples the table over Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how it all finishes there, but there you go. Randy Orton took on Shelton Benjamin, an OVW star match. That's back in the day. One of the last ones anyway.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be Jeff Hardy coming out, but Randy Orton arrived and takes Jeff match to get over payback from last week.
Yeah, Jeff came out and then sort of looked like he had a dodgy knee.
Yeah. It's kind of strange. Like the whole thing when Orton went by was kind of strange as well. Like, they don't even look at each other. Oh, it just seemed weird. Like, but it's a nice. I don't know. It was anyway. The match itself wasn't bad anyway. It was Shelton who bailed the RKO. Orton followed and suplexed Shelton onto the announce table. But back in, the masked man, aka Sunjil Singh, attacked Hardy, RKO'd him, and then allowed Shelton to hit the pay dirt, which is his finisher, to pick up the win. So it picks up some win for Shelton now, which I think is much needed. I think he's going to be going the singles run on SmackDown as well. So
good.
So all for him there. The New Day met with the Bar backstage. They stole some pancakes after telling them how much better they are at the New Day, so that could be starting a rivalry down the line with that. Nothing wrong with that. Joe had a very good promo, Samoa Joe, on his match of the greatest for Rumble, and he says that he will win the title and watch Roman get decimated by Brock, and if Roman wins, he'll take the Universal title off him as well. So just another solid promo as always from Joe.
Yeah. And
the main event, AJ Styles and the Good Brothers being reunited, taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, Rusev, and Aiden English. I have to ask you, what do you think of Nakamura's new theme, or his remix of his theme?
I like the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
That Corey Gregg says, I don't want people singing it. And I was like,
it makes sense.
I agree with that. It does, yeah, it makes sense. You don't want, you're meant to be a heel, people aren't meant to be singing along to your song.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it.
Unless people are going boo.
Or you suck, like.
Yeah.
They would never go boo.
That's the thing, yeah.
Boo. Boo.
Boo.
Boo.
It was a hot tag from Gallows. He ran wild. The pump angle sang was Squash got 2. Rusev posted Anderson, allowing Nakamura to Kinshasa Gallows for the win. Very seldom. It was actually a pretty solid match. Like, it wasn't the greatest match, but what I like about this match is how great of a heel Nakamura is turning into.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying this. Like, after the match, Styles attacked Nakamura, but Nakamura did a fist to, you know what, right? Again.
Low blow, just call it what it is.
Low blow. And look for the Kinshasa, but Carl Anderson took the bullet and then hit another one while Styles was still down. So You know, very effective psychology in that, because like he's not like, it's one thing to hurt someone, but it's another thing to hurt someone's
Watch
friends
your friend
and family.
do it, yeah.
So I'm all for that, and I'm looking forward. Actually, that's one of the matches I'm really looking forward to now. Heel, first chance now to see heel Nakamura against AJ now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Anyway, let's very quickly just talk about 205 live. Now they did a different thing this week. You didn't see this week, I presume.
No, but I know there was like some sort of gauntlet match, wasn't there?
There was. It was a fatal 5-way gauntlet match between Tony Nese, Mustafa Ali, Drew Gulak, Kalisto, and TJ Perkins. The winner was to face Cedric Alexander at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Obviously, this is in the replacement of Buddy Murphy, who by storyline, from what we're aware of, didn't make weights, therefore not being part of this match. It started with Mustafa Ali and TJ Perkins starting off. This was like fantastic. This is a great idea, by the way, for 205 Live. Just have a big match.
Yeah.
That's the whole card. So it worked very well. Where it looked like
took up the whole card, did it?
The whole cards.
Jesus.
Yeah,
was it elimination?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So it's one person comes in, another person comes in.
Oh
another
yeah,
person comes in.
Gauntlet. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was Ali who was so CJ Perkins was working the knee a lot for this, like so putting on his knee bar at one stage, but then Ali did a tornado DET. Ali on top at the 054. That's CJ Perkins gone. Next came Drew Gulak to take on Ali, and it was basically like it was a match of resilience. Like, you know, like Gulak was talking a lot of trash and he was getting all this half crabs on him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ali stayed resilient. He hit a tornado DDT, headed up top slowly, but then Gulak cut him off and he hit the steps head first, and he dragged him back in and put his Gulak on him, and he went unconscious, and that was that. So Gulak came through.
Gulak.
Like to ring to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tony Nese came out, and apparently they have a bit of a rivalry going on as well, like where Tony Nese sort of or Gulak called him out or questioned his motivation or whatever, and Nese was very aggressive straight away, but talked too much trash. Like, this is what's the good psychology about this. Talked too much trash going into it as well.
Yeah.
Like he had that match pretty much won. But he kept talking trash. He hit the running Nese, then tried to hit another one. He didn't go for the pin after the first one. He removed his knee pad, but Gulak moved, got another Gulak, and he tapped straight away.
Okay.
So, and he was furious with himself afterwards, like, "Oh, I had him," and he let his revenge, he let his anger get the best of him. So I love that. Kalisto then came out to decide the match. Then, it was a really good match then between the two. It was Kalisto who fought off the Gulak, hit a head scissors, super kick followed, but Gulak cut off the DDT and applied the Gulak. Kalisto escaped, sent Gulak to the buckles, and hit the Sleeta del Sol to pick up the win.
Forgot about Kalisto. So he's caught in the shuffle, not just on Raw, but also on the 205 Live.
But he won the match, so it goes to show. This is good because, like, what I liked about this whole match, it shows the advantage of an hour show in the way where it can have this big match.
Yeah.
And everyone played their part in it. Like, Ali played very well. Like, they teased that miracle run going from start to finish, which obviously was ruined by Gulak.
Yeah.
Gulak and Nese segment was very good because it showed Nese's thirst for revenge, but also cost him.
Yeah.
Again, so all these little things that made a difference in this match, and then it ended with Kalisto, who one could argue like this, I think this is a rewards for Kalisto because you could think that he was a casualty of the Enzo era.
Could be,
and now being renewed and has been renewed since the reboot. So now
he's been having that thing with like the other lucha wrestlers, isn't it? Lindsay and Gran Metalik.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, was it they call them the Lucha House Party or something?
Something like that. Yeah. So it's interesting now. So it's a good babyface versus babyface match, Kalisto and Alexander. So we'll see what happens there at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Now, very quickly, let's finish off by talking about 205 Live. It started off with the Undisputed Era coming out with Roderick Strong now.
Of course.
Where Fish said that they've been thrown to the wolves repeatedly, but they've always a step ahead. Now they're draped in gold. Roderick Strong went on to say that it's the best career decision he's ever made. And you realise why would it be Roddy against the world when he could just join his friends and join NXT and then take over NXT, he said.
Yeah.
And then Adam Cole went on saying that times are Kyle O'Reilly went on to saying that times are changing and they cannot be stopped before Cole sent him in the back overconfidence that like they'd be able to beat Oney Lorcan in his North American title match.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because Cole was still selling his rib injury that he got from TakeOver, and it was a back and forth match. It was like a lot of Adam Cole's offense was slowed down because of his injuries.
Yeah.
And he kept attacking. And here's only Lorcan, who's as aggressive as anybody. He kept attacking with a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Undisputed Era came out, hit Strong hit a backbreak on the apron on Lorcan. Cole hits the last shot to retain. So here's them saying, well, I can do it. I'm okay, but he still needs backup.
Mm-hmm.
They attacked Lorcan afterwards. Danny Burch came out to make the save, but it was too many numbers. It was 4 against 2 at that stage, so or 3.5 against 2, I feel like. So if it includes the Bobby Fish. Heavy Machinery took on Tino Sabatelli and Roderick Strong. It's like Moss and Sabatelli are going through probably the longest tag team breakup in history, or it seems long anyway. Tucker tags in, but Sabatelli short arms Moss and bails on him. Then Tucker hits an overhead toss, and then Otis is in and hits the compactor, and that's that. After the match, they called out with the War Raiders.
Okay.
Now, that's an interesting rivalry. I'd like to see them
Heavy Machinery and the War Raiders, yeah.
Big super heavyweight tag team against super heavyweight tag team.
Yeah.
Now, here's an interesting storyline. Dakota Kai commented on her issues about Shayna Baszler, but she said she'd rather not talk about it.
Okay.
And then Baszler arrived with Kai looking visibly very scared, her running her down and telling her that she runs women's division and that she's Kai's worst nightmare. So it looks like Kai is still shaking up from the arm injury that Baszler gave her before.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So it could be like an overcome fear sort of thing if they ever have a match.
Could be.
Yeah.
I'd say there's worse people to have your first rivalry as champion against.
Indeed.
You know, she's definitely experienced enough to do it, so I'd say go for it. I think that match could be really good.
Indeed. Now, just when we thought it was all over between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, it was supposed to be Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black for an NXT title, but who comes out? Tommaso Ciampa attacking him from behind with an eye patch.
The whole eye thing, yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a little thing, I think.
It's from the whole takeover thing, you know, when he had the eye problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically beats the crap out of Johnny. Johnny tries to fight back, but Ciampa ends up blowing him, hitting the running boot, and hearing an air raid off the stage through a table. And Candice came out to check him. He was stretched out with Johnny doing all this waving again.
You mean Tommaso doing?
Yeah, Tommaso doing all that waving again. For me, I'm glad this feud isn't over.
Yeah.
I'm you know.
Oh no, keep it going for sure. Yeah. Definitely keep it going. I'm totally on board for this.
Aleister Black then tried to call out Tommaso Ciampa, but Sanity came out, minus Nikki Cross, very interestingly, cutting the promo about chaos, and now we have an impromptu match between Eric Young and Aleister Black. The moonsault press gets 2. Black got the octopus hold, but Young counters with a Death Valley driver. Young on top, gets cut off. Black follows him in. Black mass is over. This is basically a match the way I see it. Not only does it put Black over as a very dominant champion by taking it down, not just Young but also Dean and Wolf as well, but it also writes off Sanity now as they're gone to SmackDown. So it kills 2 birds with 1 stone, I think,
exactly.
by having this.
Yeah.
So it's clever booking, knowing what's ahead, I suppose. Next week there's a lot of interesting matches now. So you have Blanca Belair taking on Candice LeRae. That's actually a very good match. You have Kona Reeves who's returning. Apparently he has this new model gimmick going on or something like that. So I don't know if you've seen anything about this.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong will apparently going to face each other. That's going to be a barn burner for sure.
Yeah.
And TM61 will take on the Street Profits. So some interesting matches ahead. So a lot to look forward to in NXT over the next few weeks for sure. But that's our results this week. When we return, we'll listen back to an interview we did with Legit 100's Michael May.
In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grawlix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grawlix Podcast. Listen to it at grawlixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
We're back here on The Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now, earlier on this week, Daragh, you had a chat with Michael May, who's one of the up-and-coming wrestlers in the country. So
yeah, I got to have a nice chat with Michael. Obviously, really nice guy. Fantastic wrestler.
There you go.
And we got to chat about a couple of things about obviously his origins in wrestling and about his time in Japan. People might not have known that he spent a bit of time in 01. About 3 months to be exact in Japan. Learning over there. Really good insight, really interesting views on it, and then looks ahead to the rest of it, and a few fantasy questions thrown in as well.
Interesting. Well, let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest this week.
On the line, I'm delighted to be joined by OTT regular and Fight Factory and PWU regular as well, Michael May. Michael, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks. You?
I'm not too bad. It's great to have you on. Before we go into the interview, of course, just a little over a week ago, you had a Contenders 8 where you took part in the NLW bracket championship. Unfortunately, you lost in the semi-finals to Terry Thatcher. How are you after it?
Yeah, pretty good. Great experience overall. That's my second time wrestling both of them now. So Doug's always a pleasure to wrestle. So it was a dream come true to wrestle him. And then obviously Terry's a great wrestler himself, great competitor, very over with the crowd, and thoroughly enjoyed both matches. So,
Yeah, you're definitely right about over with the crowd. I think that Jonah Rock match changed everything for Terry in the eyes of the crowd for sure. But it was two great matches you put on, especially the one with Doug. It was sort of like, I'd say a technical masterclass, but it's any time I see you in the ring, it always seems to be a technical masterclass. It's something that you definitely seem to work on a lot.
Yeah, well, definitely. Over the last few years, three of my main trainers, Phil Boyd, Marty Jones, and Johnny Moss, that's very much their style. Phil's all of them very technical. Marty, obviously, coming from the World of Sport background, you've been wrestling the likes of Johnny Saint, Rollerball Rocco, all those. So that's really what they emphasise whenever I'm training with them.
Mm-hmm.
With John, we're always watching, we'd be watching old tapes and trying stuff from that, and then showing us different spots and that kind of stuff.
When did you become interested in wrestling?
To be honest, I know some people always say they have a specific moment when they kind of knew they fell in love with wrestling. For me, it was more I don't really remember a time when I didn't watch it,
Mm-hmm.
It was always just something there in my life that I was always watching, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I'd say for the moment that I knew I kind of wanted to pursue it, I remember sitting in my friend's house and we were watching a WrestleMania countdown thing, and one of the matches they were showing was the Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And then just something in that match, I don't know what it was, just I think the whole spectacle of it just kind of made me want something like that, want kind of a moment.
Was Shawn Michaels a sort of wrestler that you watched most sort of then growing up?
No, it was always obviously I watched a lot of his stuff, but it was always kind of a mix. I liked Shawn Michaels. I think initially whenever I got into it, I was a big Hardy Boys fan. I love Eddie Guerrero. I kind of grew up on the the 2002, 2003 Ruthless Aggression area.
Yeah.
So it was all Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, the kind of cruiserweights.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely kind of influenced my style in the kind of technical style, as you say.
Yeah, well, you mentioned certainly three there with Jericho, Guerrero, and Benoit. Especially they would be having some fantastic technical matches in the ring as well. It wasn't just all high flying and massive moves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then you decide, like you said, you wanted to start getting involved in training. So tell me, what was the most difficult aspect of training at the start for you?
I'd say for me, I'm quite a quiet, shy person. I'd define myself as. So the whole crowd interaction, the whole kind of coming out of your shell, being louder, being more involved with the crowd is probably toughest for me.
Yeah, can understand that. I think we've had a few interviews before, and that's definitely seemed to have been a problem for a few wrestlers when they first started getting into it, was the sort of having to get involved with the crowd. But I'd say the more that you went out there, the more comfortable you became with it, and I guess probably maybe the more that you saw other wrestlers there with you interact with them as well, you probably saw what they did and maybe took some mental notes of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things. Just the more you do it, the kind of easier it becomes.
Yeah. Excellent. So tell me then about your first ever match in front of a crowd then.
I made my debut in a Rumble in 2013, I think it was.
Okay.
2013. It was in Airfield, which is about 15 minutes from the airport. Good rumble, good show.
Yeah.
I think there's probably about 20 people in the crowd that one. So
Okay.
as a Fight Factory show as well, yeah. Main event of that show was Sammy D versus Zack Sabre Jr. So
Well,
my first show was Zack Sabre Jr.
if you can remember, what were the feelings like then, just before you were called out, or just before the music played, or when you first got into the ring?
To be honest, it wasn't. I didn't really know I was making my debut that day. It was just the rumble was starting.
Mm-hmm.
I asked, or they said, "Do I want to jump in it?" And I said, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
I threw on some gear and then just ran out, and
I say that
was really it. You know,
that was probably better. It
didn't
didn't
have time
even
to kind of take it in.
Yeah, it didn't give you time to think about it, or maybe even overthink about it, which could be the case.
Yeah,
Excellent.
exactly.
Excellent. So then we'll move forward a little bit, and then you make the decision to go over to Japan and to 0-1. So tell me a little bit about the decision behind deciding to go over to Japan.
Well, it's a bit of a long story. Obviously, I've always been interested in Japanese wrestling. It's probably my favorite style,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to over like a WWE or like a American indie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I watch the most, Japanese style. So going to Japan was always a huge goal of mine. I guess it all started. I know Sean Maxer, he trained in Fight Factory.
Yeah.
So I always kind of had a contact with him. I'd be chatting to him a lot. And then, so it started. I'd always been going over to Marty Jones and Johnny Moss to train a lot. So I'd be going over there probably in around 2015, 2016. I'd be going over there every single month, like flying myself over to train.
Yeah.
Just hoping to get, because in Ireland you wouldn't be getting a lot of shows, like maybe one every 3 months back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to work more. I knew that's something I had to do if I wanted to improve. So eventually I was doing that, and then I got offered to go on the summer camps for work for Brian Dixon and All-Star Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I got offered to do that. But then 1 week after I got offered, I broke my foot.
Right.
So wasn't able to go over. So during that time, my recovery time, Fly Factory did a seminar with Sean Maxer. He was home for about a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And at that seminar, I was chatting to him about, what would I have to do if I wanted to come over, and train and rest for 0-1. He just said, get healthy first, just keep in contact, send me matches, and I'll see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I just kept in contact with him. Like I said, sent him matches, just said, I want to come over.
Yeah.
So then she said, yeah, he was chatting to the office, and if I want, I can come on over and train in 0-1 and wrestle.
How did you find it over there? Was it a bit of, like, say, of a culture shock at the start?
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely the toughest part for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, training-wise and matches and all, that's what I was kind of preparing for most. So, like, that wasn't, obviously it was tough, but it wasn't as tough as living there.
Yeah.
That was definitely the biggest culture shock. Like, the language barrier, they don't really have the best English over there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard to kind of communicate with people. You just kind of...
Did you have to learn some broken Japanese when you were over there as well?
Yeah, more or less. Like, I learned a few words, you can pick up some stuff.
Yeah.
If I didn't have, like... There was a few lads over there. Obviously, Maxer was there. There was an Australian lad called Hartley Jackson. And then there was a lad from Belarus
Mm-hmm.
called Chris Orndorff. So they all spoke English. So that made it a little bit easier,
Oh, of course. I say that was sort of important as well to sort of get you used to sort of living over there. How long in total were you over in Japan for?
3 months I was over there for.
3 months.
3 months.
Excellent. And in terms of the training methods, how different were they compared to, say, in Ireland? Maybe not Ireland now, but Ireland at the time.
Well, like, obviously, a lot of, like, Phil, he's been over in 0-1. Maxer's been there for a long time. Jordan's been there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they were all trained by Finn Balor. So Fight Factory does have a bit of a Japanese style to the training.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a huge difference for me. Like normal, do you want me to go through everyday training type thing?
Yeah, well, I heard, I actually heard when Jordan was talking on a podcast recently. I can't remember. I think it was the OT2 podcast, and he was saying that when he went over to Japan, he said that the training involved, and some of it was, I think in some of the dojos where you'd warm up, they turn the air conditioning off, and then basically you'd have to be training in the stifling heat for a couple of hours.
Yeah, well, I was over there during the winter, so it wasn't as bad. I was over there. I went in February.
Yeah.
It was fairly cold then, so it wasn't too bad the heat wise.
Oh, okay.
It was just Go on.
No, I was just gonna say. Well, then, yeah. Tell me a little bit about then the day-to-day training you'd need to do now.
Yeah. Well, whenever I went over, I was kind of defined as a young boy, so not a brand new trainee, but I'm not really a full roster member yet, you know.
Yeah.
So training would start at 11, but I'd have to get there for 10 to clean the dojo, clean on the mats.
Yeah.
Tidy up the office, all that kind of stuff. So I do that from 10 to about 11, and then 11 we'd be on the mats training. So for example, off the top of my head, I remember one of the days we'd start off with a bit of stretching, and then we do 500 squats, and then that would lead into 50 line push-ups, then straight into 40 normal push-ups, and straight into 30 reverse line push-ups, and straight into 20 half moon push-ups, and then we go into a lot of sit-ups, then we go into bridging. We do that for about an hour.
Yeah.
Kind of like calisthenics.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do an hour of weight training.
Okay.
Just your normal whatever weights.
Yeah.
And then after that you do another hour of in-ring training. So your rolls, running spots, chain wrestling, the usual, you know.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty intense, and that'd be pretty much 5-6 days a week.
Yeah, Monday to Friday normally, and then on the weekend you'll be on the road doing shows.
And like you said, you've mentioned a lot, especially in Fight Factory, that have gone over, and obviously we've seen recently the likes of Session Martina going over as well. Do you think that's going to be something coming along in the next couple of years, where we're going to see more and more Irish go over to Japan and possibly just taking up positions in promotions there? Maybe not just going over for training, but maybe even just staying over there.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's in wrestling, it's kind of who you have contacts with. That's how you kind of get places.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely have a lot of contact. The Irish definitely have a lot over in Japan.
Yeah.
We have Sean in 01, and 01 has a lot of contacts with our promotions. Obviously, we have Martina over there now, and then obviously Finn Balor was over there. So I'm sure if someone impressed him enough, he could definitely put in a word for someone, you know.
Tell me, which of the venues is your favourite one to compete in?
Good question. My favourite venue, I do enjoy the Sean O'Casey one for me, Fight Factory, just because it's just amazing to see how far Fight Factory's come. What was the last show? We had probably about 200 people there, put on a great show. While I'd say this time 2 years ago, we were doing shows in front of about 20 people.
Yeah.
So to see that is pretty heartwarming.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've had some great matches in the Ringside Club for Contenders.
Yeah.
It's always a great venue. In Japan, there was one called Shinkiba. It's 20 minutes from our dojo.
Yeah.
It's got a wrestling show every single night there, so it's a hotbed for Japanese pro wrestling.
One venue there that you left out, and I actually want to talk about it because it is seen as sort of, say, the mecca of Irish wrestling at the moment, and that's the Tivoli. And of course, you made your debut there at the gaff party against Zach Gibson. Just tell me a little bit about what it was like. First of all, hearing the reaction that you got when your music played.
Yeah, no, it was pretty great to hear. Definitely seems like I'm doing something right if people are cheering me on.
Yeah, I think one or two seem to like you, all right, at least anyway.
Yeah, definitely. No, that was obviously a fantastic experience to be able to make the Tivoli debut, to get that on my belt, and to do it against one of the champions, Zach Gibson. That was great to wrestle him. Great experience.
So, of course, you have loads of shows coming up over the next couple of weeks. The one that's closest, of course, is PWU this weekend, which is going to be you against actually one of your head trainers, Phil Boyd.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a dream match for me to be able to wrestle Phil. It's our first time one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a few tags and triple threats and stuff with him, but very much looking forward to this Sunday against Phil.
Yeah, and of course there's obviously Scrapper Mania and Contenders 9 coming up on the same weekend as well. I'm sure we're definitely going to see you on, if not both, at least one of those shows. Yeah, like I said, moving on. Just announced actually this week as well that Fight Factory have announced a date for their episode 5, June 1st. Hashtag Irish Underground style. Back in the Sean O'Casey as well. You look forward to the show?
Oh, very much so. I found out my match the other day, but I can't tell yet. But I know it's going to be a very, 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 very good match, and I'm very, very, very excited for it.
You can't give a hint, no?
No,
no, I won't make it. It's fine. I'm not going to get you in trouble. Excellent. So we know then we're going to be seeing you on the show, which is great. So obviously we have all those shows coming up. But what goals have you set for yourself now for the rest of the year?
To be honest, I don't really set any specific goals.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I just try to keep doing what I'm doing. Just keep working as hard as I can. Keep making as many contacts as I can. Keep having as many good matches as I can. And if I keep doing that, then hopefully that will lead to something good.
Okay.
Obviously, I'd like to get abroad a bit more as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm going over to England in June to wrestle Marty Jones, my trainer. He's running the show, so I'll be going over to that.
Excellent.
I think I'm going over to Belgium in September to wrestle.
Excellent.
So there's some of the abroad dates I have at the moment. Hopefully, I can get a few more now.
Yeah.
Everything's going pretty fantastic at the moment.
For sure. Delighted to hear. So, as we end the interview, there's a few sort of fantasy questions now that we normally ask our interviewees. Now, I gave you them ahead of time, so hopefully maybe I gave you a bit of time to maybe think of the answer for them. But there's three. I know I gave you two, but I threw one more in there as well, right? So I'll leave the curveball one, the one that you don't know about till last. But the first one is, okay, so if you could have any fantasy matchup against any wrestler, alive or dead, who would it be?
For that one, I've probably got a few people.
Okay.
I'd definitely like to have a few fantasy matches with. I'd say someone would be like Dynamite Kid would definitely be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Finn Balor
is
definitely another one. And then something like the Japanese guys I grew up watching. So like Super Delphin would be one.
Okay.
There's a lad in Noah called Ricky Marvin. I'd love to wrestle him.
Yeah.
And then when I was over in Japan, I wrestled Otani. I wrestled him in a tag match and teamed with him, but I never got really a singles match.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love one of them.
Okay.
And probably like obviously Jordan Devlin would be another one.
Yeah.
And I'd love a one-on-one with LJ Cleary. We haven't really had one of those, like a properly advertised one.
You haven't had a one-on-one with LJ yet?
We've had one-on-ones, but not in this new kind of wave of Irish wrestling, if you know what I mean. Like the kind of since like the Contenders days and all. Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely one then I have to see. I think we all should definitely see. All right then. So we've got your fancy matchup. So who would be your fancy tag partner then?
That was one I kind of a fancy tag partner. Maybe someone like I don't know, like Owen Hart. I love to tag with.
Mm-hmm.
Same again. Like probably my fancy matches would be similar enough to my fancy tag partners. Like I'd love to team up with like an Owen Hart or a Dynamite Kid or even like a British Bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of guys. And maybe even tag up with Lee as well. I think that'd be a good match. If we would tag team.
The Legit Blaze or something, would we call that? Would that be the name of the tag
Something
team?
like that, yeah. Maybe team up with Dom Tuck or something.
What? Yeah, Dom Tuck and Michael May. I don't know. Could you pull off the cardigan?
I think I'd give it a go, definitely.
I think so. Yeah, I think, or maybe just get Dom to wear the denim jacket. It's all will be grand though. All will be grand. Just
I think me and Yup Stuck could make it work.
I think you could. Just don't say anything bad to Katie or Valkyrie, because you probably will get kicked in the face. And I think Dom is still walking around the ringside club wondering what happened.
I think we all are.
So the last question then is, I asked you where is your favourite place to wrestle. Where would be the one place that you like to wrestle most?
Like venue or a country or
venue.
I got the chance to wrestle in Cork and Hall when I was over there.
Yeah.
That's definitely on my bucket list. That's somewhere that's probably one of my biggest goals, is to wrestle in Cork and Hall.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, it is such an iconic one. Now, I confess, I've only sort of started sitting down and watching Japanese wrestling regularly in the last sort of 2 years, and I can already see how much of sort of similar to the Tivoli, how it is the mecca of sort of Japanese wrestling. Obviously the Tokyo Dome is synonymous as well, but that's more synonymous for the bigger shows. But for Corrigan Hall, just for that, I think I remember hearing normally tickets to the shows are free, but you have to wait in line, and people leave newspapers out in line or something to hold their spot, and no one ever takes their spot. No one ever tries to jump the line at all, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, that's definitely something. I could believe the Japanese are extremely polite. Would be a good way to sum them up. Extremely polite and extremely just genuine people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could definitely believe something like that.
Yeah, excellent. Well, look, listen, Michael, it was great having you on today. Of course,
good to be here.
PW this weekend against Phil Boyd. There's still some tickets available for that as well. And you have, of course, Contenders 9 coming up as well in May 13th. Of course, May 12th, the Scrappermania as well. There's still some tickets available for that. And then, of course, like we said, just announced this week, hashtag Irish Underground Style, episode 5 of Fight Factory, June the 1st. Also, that's on a Friday night as well. Are tickets available yet for that? I'm not too sure.
Not yet. They'll be released during the week.
Excellent. Excellent.
They'll be fantastic shows. Everyone should come see them.
For sure. Once again, it was great having you on, and best of luck with the rest of the year, and I'm sure we'll be speaking again soon.
And that was Dara's interview that we had with Michael May earlier on this week. It was actually a class interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Really, really happy how it turned out. Michael, like he said in the interview himself, he said he's kind of like a shy sort of keeps to himself sort of guy, but he really expressed himself really well in the interview, and I'm delighted that we got to speak, and hopefully now he's happy with it.
Absolutely. Anyway, let's move on with our show now with our previews of the week.
What? Look at what we have here, folks!
We have a fair amount of previews to bring up now, so we'll get to them now as quickly as we can. First of all, CCW, they're back tonight, actually, in Limerick Strand Hotel for their first show in a while in Limerick, as far as I'm aware, for CCW Limerick City Strong Style. Tickets are still available on the Eventbrite.ie. Steve Savage, who is apparently a local man from Limerick, or I think he is anyway, is set to appear among other CCW stars. So I think they're doing a matinee show and a normal show for that. They've been doing a lot of their events lately, so should be an interesting show ahead.
There's a few of the matches that have been announced for it, of course. There's the main event is a street fight between Lycan and Bruiser.
Oh, that's a good match.
Yeah, we've got Ricky Combat against Savage. Steve
Savage,
yeah. Yep. Viper is against Justy in an All-Star Championship match.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, we've got the Armstrongs going up against the Super Nintendos.
I like that one.
That'd be a good match. Dino is against Danny the Beast Butler, and then there's a tag team match, Flight Mode, against Therapy.
Can't argue any of those matches. That's actually a class card, like, so.
Yeah.
So best of luck to everyone involved in that. Now, PWU Junction 8 Know Your Enemy will be taking place tomorrow, Sunday, April 29th at the S13 Queens Road in Belfast. There's still tickets available on tickettailor.com. Matches announced include Rocky Star to take on K.E. Harvey in an intergender match, Tim Steed to defend his PWU title against CTB the Third, Lucha DS to take on Luther Valentine, Phil Boyd to defend his PW All Ulster title against Michael May, New School to defend the PWG tag titles against the very unconventional team, you could argue, of Justy and Darren Carney. Lauren LaRue will defend her PW women's title in a fatal four-way against Rhea O'Reilly, Debbie Cattell and Valkyrie. Charlie Sterling is to make his PWU debut, and Tucker is also in action that night. Very intriguing card there as well, so
Yeah,
especially
really
the tag
good card.
titles.
Yep.
Anyway, Low Blows will be back with another one of their parties on Monday, May 7th for No Spoiler Monday for WWE Backlash, returning to Buskers at the Ball. Tickets are available at eventbrite.ie or free for Low Blow Network subscribers. The show starts at 5 o'clock and the pay-per-view runs from 7 to 11. So basically, for anyone who has work the next day on Monday, which I don't think is the case, it's a bank holiday, I think, so regardless, it's like one of those things. So
Go anyway for the crack.
Go anyway for the crack. They're, like, everyone's cool anyway. Anyway, OTT now. It's approaching now. So
The show.
D show is coming up. D show. OTT Scrapper Mania will be happening Saturday, May 12th at the National Boxing Stadium. Tickets are still available on eventbrite.ie. Very limited tickets at this stage, and when you listen to the card, you'll understand why.
The match announcement made this week alone. It was incredible. Did you see that one?
It is. In a 6-man tag team match, Scotty Davis, Tyler Bate and Mark Haskins will take on LJ Cleary, David Starr and Shane Strickland. Here's a twist to it though. The winning team will face each other in a triple threat match where the winner of
Straight
that match will get a guaranteed title match in the future. So that's interesting. Is that like going to be like a guaranteed title whenever they want, or whenever it's booked? Or
I say more whenever it's booked.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I would love it to be like a Money in the Bank style thing where they can do it at any point.
When you look at that match, which triple threat would you rather see? Considering the story, it would be Davis, Bate and Haskins for me, because there's a bit
considering
of a
the
thing
story,
there's a bit of a thing between Davis and Haskins after the last
but
show.
a triple threat of Strickland, Starr and LJ.
That's a class match as well.
Both of them are just fantastic.
Either way,
sounding.
either way, you're happy.
Yeah.
The other matches include Matt Riddle against Will Ospreay. They're all three Kings of the North, Damien Corvin, Bonesaw and Duncan Disorderly to take on Aussie Open and Adam Brooks. Sami Zayn to defend her OTT women's title against Valkyrie. The Rapture, Zach Gibson and Charlie Sterling to defend the OTT tag titles against the Angel Cruisers. Keith Lee to take on Minoru Suzuki. Tomohiro Ishii to take on Jeff Cobb. And Zack Sabre Jr. to defend the OTT World title against Zack Sabre Jr. It's such a good card, and I won't be going to it. But
Well, you have an important reason.
very good reason,
important
but of all days.
I'll try take like video or Snapchats and send them to you.
OTT in demand, I'll be alright. The very next day, though, I can make up for it, though, because OTT Contenders 9, The Hangover, will be taking place right next door at the Ringside Club beside National Stadium on Sunday, May 13th. There's still tickets available on eventbrite.ie. The match announced includes the final match for the NLW title tournament, where Scotty Davis will take on Terry Thatcher to decide the new NLW champion. Michael May will take on Charlie Sterling. Nathan Martin and Darren Carney of More Than Type will take on the team of Curtis Murray and Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
that's a very interesting match. And Shane Strickland and Keith Lee will take on the very anticipated return of the Big Hangovers, aka Jordan Devlin and Sean Guinness. Apparently, I don't know if you know this, apparently I heard the story about why they're actually called the Big Hangovers.
Yeah, I told you last week.
Oh, you told me this already.
Yeah.
I thought
That's where you heard it. You heard it from me.
Yes,
and I heard it from the OTT podcast.
And I forgot that you told me that. My bad.
Oh, it's okay, Dave. It's okay.
Well, that's
okay.
on that note. Let's move on.
Also, we should mention the
go on.
news. Sorry, that OTT have announced on the weekend of June the 3rd that they're going to be returning to Belfast.
Oh, very good.
Yes. Did you not see?
I
that?
did. Oh, I did see that. Yeah, on June 2nd, I think it says, or something like that.
June the 3rd, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, because June the 1st is the Friday. That's when the next Fight Factory show is.
Oh, that's another
Yes,
thing.
yes, the next Fight Factory show. Hashtag Irish Underground style.
Now, no matches have been announced for the Fight Factory show yet, but
No, isn't that the match? Isn't that the event when the title is on the line?
well, the grapple games are there, yes.
The grapple games final.
But apparently, like Rick on Low Blows made a hint of how intriguing the matches are without actually revealing them, and apparently it sounds interesting.
Yes, of course you would have heard it in the interview itself anyway.
Yeah.
Michael said that he knows who he'll be facing at it. He can't divulge information just yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's going to be quite a tasty match.
Should be interesting. Anyway, let's finish off our show with our yes nos.
Yes, no! Yes, no! Yes, no!
We'll get straight to them. Not too many this week anyway. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, which was a rumoured match to be happening in the future, to not happen at SummerSlam, which was the aimed date for this.
No, it will happen. He came back under the assumption that's who we'll be facing. So, yeah, it's going to happen.
It's like a match that
He wants that to happen. He wanted it to be an MMA fight, but I think he's content with it just being a wrestling match now.
Would WWE actually allow an MMA fights? Really?
No, but they wanted to do like either a UFC or a Bellator.
Yeah, do like a Matt Riddle style match. That makes more sense. Keith Lee to come to WWE. The reason I bring this up now, like
I know he's been rumoured, yeah.
There's been a lot of rumours about this lately. Now it was back.
I think he will eventually, but not yet.
Well, the reason it's brought,
He's too good.
yes, it's true. But think of what's happened lately. He lost the PWG title. He's not making bookings after a certain date.
Is he not?
Apparently so. Could be sooner than we think.
So this could be the last time we see him?
It could be. But I can imagine Keith Lee in NXT though.
Oh, he'll clean up.
Oh my god.
He'll clean up.
Now here's a really weird one.
Keith Lee against Ricochet.
Here's a really weird one now. Enzo Amore to either return to the Indies. Apparently now he's been officially let go of WWE.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Now, as a result of this, either to return to the Indies or retire from wrestling altogether. Or do you even have an opinion on this, considering what he's
really
going
don't
through?
care.
Yeah, I was thinking
I
that.
don't care. If he goes to the Indies, he'll never get booked in Ireland. So
apparently his whole trial thing is still.
it's still very there was rumours going around that the investigation was over, but no, the investigation is definitely still on.
It's definitely still on. Yeah. Curtis, Axel, and Bo Dallas to be woken. We brought this up on Raw.
I'll say yes. So just go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, and this is probably a rumour we haven't brought up in a while, but it's going to be a long one going for the next few months, I imagine. CM Punk to make an appearance at the All In show. It's been brought up to light a bit more recently this week, so that's why I bring it up. So
that's kind of ironic.
Because
I had a dream just a couple of days ago.
Okay.
That CM Punk came back to an indie show.
Okay.
So I'm going to say yes, because I like my dreams to come true.
And on that fantasy booking, that's all the time we have for this week on the Kickouts. Indeed it is. That's all the time we have for this week on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides, right here on 90.3 Near FM, the EMC Podcast Network, and on all good podcasting providers. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kickout Wrestling, on Twitter at The Kickout Live, on Instagram at The Kickout Wrestling, my Twitter at Dave Bandana, and Daragh at
Mars Bear.
Now we're actually going to watch a pay-per-view that everyone else has seen, essentially. Because we haven't seen it, and by the time this goes out...
Can you believe what happened in that thing?
Oh my god.
Oh god, did you see when the postman came out and everything? And then the prayers.
The blood... Remember that time when Brock had when Brock was all bloodied
Do
up?
you remember when he had Roman in that hole?
For how long?
Oh, it seemed like an eternity. An eternity. Are you going to Low Blows tomorrow then?
Of course I am.
Are you? Okay, you enjoy it.
I will indeed.
I won't be there, unfortunately. I'm in work till 8 o'clock tomorrow night, so I'm going to miss the first few hours.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a social media blackout.
Are you eventually coming?
No.
Oh,
I won't be there. I'm going to be on a... Because I won't... By the time I get there, it'll be like 9 o'clock and be like 2 hours left.
Oh, I gotcha.
So no point. So I'll be on a social media blackout, and I'll watch it from when I go home, so I'll be catching it.
Oh, okay, great.
The whole time.
Well, we'll be back next week with latest elements from the world of pro wrestling, including a review of the greatest Royal Rumble anyway. But until then, I've been Dave Cullen, he's been Daragh Maher, this has been the Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guide. Thank you so much for listening.